In 1960, a brave new world is ushered in as the colonial powers give up their colonies around the world. In June, the Congo celebrates independence after 75 years of Belgian rule. Days later, Belgian interests were threatened when Congolese soldiers rebelled against their white officers. Belgian soldiers reoccupied the country and brutally crushed the mutiny.
Patrice Lumumba, the newly elected Prime Minister, appealed to the United Nations for assistance. But the situation deteriorated when, under the leadership of Moise Tshombe, the wealthiest province of Katanga broke away from the rest of the Congo. Now, civil war was raging in Katanga between the Konikats, who were Tshombe's followers, and the Balubas, who were opposed to President Tshombe's decision to secede from the rest of the Congo.
We were looking up on maps to see where was the place, and we couldn't find it on the maps. And we were volunteering to go to this place.
You had about 10 inoculations in one day. Teeth extractions, medicals, this, that, and the other. You didn't get time to think.
On July 27, 1960, the first Irish peacekeepers assembled at Baldonnel, home of the Irish Air Corps, where American Globemaster C-124s and Hercules C-130s were waiting to transport the soldiers to Africa.
We were so far behind. I'd say secretly, probably some of them were laughing at us. Like the Americans, they couldn't believe where are these coming from.
I thought I was at the walk in front of a jet engine because the heat was blowing off the desert. And we had never experienced heat like that in our lives. So anyway, we discovered it wasn't a jet engine that was going to burn us, it was just the heat off the desert.
Where will you find better soldiers than the Irish? That was the thought of onlookers at McKee Barracks, Dublin, as Premier Limatch reviewed the 36th Battalion. At Dublin Airport, the men finished with the parade ground for the time being. The American Globemasters were airlifting them to the Congo. 700 men of the 36th Battalion were going there to join the United Nations force, which is trying to restore peace in that troubled country. The Republic of Ireland is backing UNO to the hilt.
The gendarmerie were driven back into what then was northern Rhodesia, and that were annihilated.
In Elizabethville, Operation Mortar quickly escalates into open warfare. 3 Irish soldiers lose their lives in the fighting.
Seeing this black minister or whatever he was, next thing Pat Quindon was sent for, and he was told that we were being taken prisoners. Now, to be taken a prisoner during a ceasefire, it's against everything that the Geneva Convention ever stood for.
January 1963 saw Katanga reunited with the rest of the Republic. By the end of 1963, the Congo remained united. Political stability had been achieved.
Out and dressed in their very best. Indeed, they couldn't wait to start the jubilation. Perhaps these were in the nature of a dress rehearsal. Anyway, the people put on a good show.
Again, on a cold November day, only the beat of muffled drums and the tolling of church bells could be heard as the cortege passes through a city in mourning. First Irish battalion to serve with the United Nations arrived on the 28th of July 1960. The last Irish soldier left the Congo on the 30th of June 1964, ending Ireland's involvement in the campaign.
It's a pleasure to welcome each and every one of you to this house. The Irish United Nations Veterans Association is so welcome. It's good to see the blueberry. We have one of the finest peacekeeping forces in the world, and we are very, very grateful because that did not happen by accident. It doesn't happen by accident, it happens because of the efforts that have been made by people like you. Isn't it so important that we do remember?